Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The famous Randy himself. Well, I don't know about that, Stonger, but it's at least Randy himself. I'm not sure about the whole famous part. I'm kind of half-assed YouTube famous, but that's really about it. I can still go to the grocery store. It's all good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an extreme stream with Real Crypto. Just thought I'd jump on here on a Sunday. Been watching the markets and try to get in here earlier, but doing some stuff around the house. It's been kind of fun. You guys enjoy your Bitcoin whipsaw for the day? We had one pretty much every day except for yesterday. Not a huge whipsaw yesterday, but we got our whipsaw for today here. That was interesting. What's up, Rumble T. Chally? Interesting name there. Another amazing move about to happen, Nighthawk. No, I think we saw that already. I think we already saw the move, so we're not gonna get. I don't think we're gonna have too much more craziness here today. It's been about 5 days since we had our big up thrust here, and so we're a little long in the tooth for this move. Most moves don't actually last this long, or I should say consolidations, not necessarily moves. Most consolidations only last a number of days, as we've seen in the past. This one going to come up to a week here pretty soon, and so far it doesn't look like there's any major signs of that move abating. Yeah, BitConnect first, absolutely, Jonathan. I'm glad you mentioned that. So, if you guys don't know about BitConnect, BitConnect is a spectacular bargain right now. Spectacular bargain. Oops, not Bitcoin, BitConnect. Guys, it's a good bottom buying opportunity for those of you that don't understand sarcasm. It's a great bottom buying opportunity. Down at 48 cents. It was at $400, so there's a good, I don't even know what percentage that is, like 10,000x for you real quick. So obviously it's going to go right back up there because it's a bargain. So thank you, Jonathan, for mentioning BitConnect. Do we have our 100 likes that are prescribed here for the Power Hour? Probably not. That's why I said don't enjoy sarcasm, Kevin. If you guys don't know, I'm not advocating buying BitConnect. That is a complete joke. Kevin, you almost believe me? That's because I do have an insanely dry sense of humor. My mother-in-law, it's taken her 10 years to maybe get used to me half of the time. So I don't doubt you. And you know what? I'm just having fun here, guys. I don't do this for, this isn't investment advice. This is education and entertainment. So if you buy BitConnect, that's on you. Actually, don't buy BitConnect. But anyway, it's fun to say you should. It's fun to say you should. That's all I'm going to say. Spike Tyson, would you call this a triple top or a head and shoulders? Well, first of all, I would call it like a quadruple, quintuple top, which means it's none of those things. That generally doesn't exist. But it does have a semblance of a head and shoulders, but I really wouldn't quite call it that either. Yes, we do have three peaks, some kind of a reversal pattern. I would view this as a reversal pattern more than I would a traditional head and shoulders pattern. Your traditional head and shoulders pattern, you would have a neckline as such, and usually, I say usually, because anything can happen in the markets, usually things that are kind of shaped like this don't work out so much. Now, if there wasn't this spike down here, I'd be a little more inclined, but typically with the head and shoulders, there's a little more action in the head. You get an actual, kind of like a retest and reversal. Like if you notice in this larger inverted head and shoulders, we didn't just spike up. We didn't have one head, we had two touches, which made it an extremely valid head for this inverted head and shoulders. And the shoulder had some, I'm going to say body, even though I don't mean like the body of your body, but it kind of looks like, there's some action here. There's some, there's body to, I don't know how else to describe it. It's not a huge wick to the downside. They can work. And in this particular situation, like I said, I would view this more of a lack of strength to get higher than necessarily a specific chart pattern. But if you did want to put a chart pattern to it, I guess it probably, at this particular point, would be a head and shoulders pattern. But I think we still have more action movement to go before we end up really seeing what this is going to be in the end. Because, I mean, in the end, no one's really talking about, what this is or this is. They're talking about the whole thing, inverted head and shoulders. So we don't know what this whole thing is going to be at. Is it just going to be another Bart Simpson action that took a week or two, or is it going to be a continuation for an upside move? And there's a lot of different opinions on that floating around there. I don't watch any other YouTube videos, so I'm not sure what anyone else is saying. I'm really just kind of playing the watch and see game. We've been talking about this inverted head and shoulders for a while now. We have a target that has been hit to about 80% of capacity. So I'll go ahead and draw it for you, even though I just deleted it. Don't know why I deleted it, but I did. So there's the target. Technically, you're looking at 78, 66, 43, 55, 9, 59,084. So down to the billionth of a penny, that's your target. But, you know, we already hit about 80% of the way there. So this has already been hit from a general standpoint. It doesn't have to hit it exactly. It can roll over from here. That would be fairly normal. And right now we're just kind of waiting to see what the action is going to bring. And what we see so far is a pretty wide trading range. I've drawn... That's not what I wanted to do. I've been drawing this channel, this declining channel. I'll change the color to make it really annoying, just to make it annoying. So there's the channel that I've had drawn on my charts ever since we had even this third peak. I'm kind of omitting this wick right now. This is a declining channel. Typically would indicate another upward movement. We tried to have that today. It failed once earlier in the morning today. We were looking at that in the power hour as it was sitting up here. I actually took a short. I actually shorted the market up here during the power hour today. And I got stopped out as we went above this high, and then you see the immediate pullback. So they were stop hunting up here, and I got caught up in that. I didn't think we'd get above that, but I should have known better. Anywho, it popped up, and I wasn't active enough and in time, and it rolled over. I did see it reverse. I saw it hanging up here, and I thought to re-enter my short, but I didn't. I was actually watching a show at the time, and went back to watching the show, came back, and it was down here, and I'm like, oh. You know what I mean? So the failure to act, the failure to believe in your gut instinct sometimes can cost you some money. And in this particular circumstance, it cost me as well. It took a small loss. Didn't hurt me a lot, but the small losses are starting to add up a little bit in this consolidation. So I'm really winding down on my trading right here. Had a good move on the up thrust, getting chopped up a little bit here. So I think I'm done trading until I see a really clear signal or a really clear setup, which right now we don't see that. We see a lot of wide and loose action here in this kind of topping behavior. And if you look at this chart, pretty much all the big candles are huge down bars. Right there, that's a huge down bar. That's a huge down bar, and this most recent one, another huge down bar as volume is declining. You see each of these three volume candles declining. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty well-defined trend line there. So you can see right there, indicating to me that potentially the sellers are getting close to done. The question is, are the buyers going to have enough exuberance to keep going? That's the question here. That is the question. So sellers are kind of reducing a little bit here. The question is there enough buying to take us out and over this channel line? Now I have a couple other lines on my trend, a couple other trend lines on my chart here, guys. And to note, this trend line here, which I'll go ahead and make a dark purple. That looks weird. I'll make it blue. This blue trend line is this bottom trend line, going all the way back to the 6,000. And why is that not touch? There we go. So this blue trend line here, these were circles I was drawing from the power hour lesson this morning, guys. This trend line here, we've already reached the apex of this trend line and this trend line. Now, I had a video a while back, and my thesis was this trend line is going to hold us down through the rest of the bear move. Okay? That is a theory that I've had for a little while now, kind of rhyming with the 2014 market. Still could be true. Very good possibility it's still true. But we're running the risk of running through that and continuing higher. That being said, there's many levels of resistance here. One of them is this blue trend line. Another one is this green trend line here, which I can probably poke into some blue. whichever, I'm not sure which blue I used. There we go. So there's this trend line, which is about the breakdown point, and it already stopped there once. So I'll zoom back in. You can see we stopped here. We went over it here, but blew back tremendously in what happened to be the first red day in, it looks like 6 days. And as a matter of fact, we were looking at this during the power hour, and this is the first time that this had happened, because we were looking at this upthrust in real time. We actually caught this in real time during the power hour. And we watched it. We talked about buying it through it. Some of us bought it going up, and then we immediately sold it as it reversed back down through. And we're like, yeah, maybe we should take some profits here at this level. If you just got in, maybe we should consider lightening those positions. But yeah, it ended up, you know, falling down lower. And this would have been the 7th green day. We were talking about that. We're like, hey, you know, this is possibly the 7th green day. And if you go back, we hadn't had 7 green days in the market since the top. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This was the last time we had a 7-day bull run in the market. Right there. There was a couple, I think one 5, maybe 2 5 days, but there wasn't 7 days of green in a row. So we were due a red candle, and we happened to get that red candle the same day we were talking about it. So that putting in our most recent top, the volume not super aggressive, however. That is one thing that does give this rally some belief and some potential that it continues, is the fact that we didn't really come down that much. We came down a little bit. The volume was lighter even on the daily, and we're still within this channel. So even though we had a nice topping bar here, doesn't mean that we're completely done to the upside. We're still living within a nice channel. And so you just kind of have to give it the benefit of the doubt until it proves you otherwise. But it's been tricky because all of these highs have been sold into. And that can make this very, very difficult if you're not willing to hold this thing through to its conclusion or the ultimate stop level, which, as we pointed out in the power hour, I think is about 71.30 is the ultimate stop level. There's a really small 15-minute candle here that we're kind of respecting as the ultimate low for this general consolidation at this time. So that's kind of what we're looking at on a big picture perspective. And we kind of hit some good views here, guys. So guys, smash the like button. If you guys haven't hit the like button already, please do so. I would appreciate it. And if you guys do like what I talk about here on Real Crypto, we have a nice community that we have. You can feel free to join our Slack chat room if you're so inclined. You can sign up on the homepage of my website, real-crypto.com. It is a free chat room. There's no charge to subscribe to the chat room. It's just a Slack room, and you can sign up right here. Just curious what your trading experience is, and that's pretty much the only thing that I ask of you, other than your email address for a newsletter that I haven't signed or even really sent out yet. And then if you guys are so inclined, check out my webinars and our power hour, which is we go through the markets every single day between 9 and 10 a.m. Arizona time, and every session is recorded. If you can't watch it live, happen to miss it, or want to view any of our previous sessions, if you want to know what we talked about on 720 2 days ago on the top, you can go ahead and watch it. So there you go, guys. That's the power hour. All right, thank you, Pratik, for liking it. Let's go ahead and check out some questions. Got a few rolling through here. See what's going on. See who is here today. Haven't really. I saw Stonger. And there's a car that's beeping. All right. Sorry, guys. My kids are in the other room, apparently taking the car keys and making it honk. Permahoy got the first like. Very nice. Thank you, Permahoy. Appreciate that, buddy. Bricks, first time here. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you get something out of it, man. Hopefully you get something out of it. If you got any questions about the market, about anything that, trading questions that you have, feel free to ask them. Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. That's Jamie Bennett. It is cryptocurrency land. For a few months, it's been you and Magic Poop that you've listened to. Magic Poop's actually pretty good. I don't have a lot of guys that I really respect in the TA world, but when Magic Poop really exploded on the scene, his analysis and my analysis are pretty in lockstep. He has a slightly different view on some of the moves the market takes from a technical perspective, but we usually end up in about the same area, so I don't mind him. He kind of stepped away for a minute, not kind of sure why. Would I call this triple top or head and shoulders? Like I said, possible head and shoulders, not really a triple top. All right. Going to get darker before it gets light? Maybe. Maybe. If this level holds, could there be an inverted head and shoulders starting to form? Are you talking about stronger on this time frame right here? On the up here? Maybe. Possibly. Yeah, I guess there's a possibility if you give yourself a neckline right there. There could be an inverted head and shoulders. Absolutely. And this looks a little more healthy, to be honest with you, to me, than this head and shoulders target. So you see spikes sometimes at the shoulder level, like up here, there's kind of a spike here. That's okay for an area to draw a neckline from, but for the actual heads and shoulders, you do want more action in that area. So it actually would kind of look a little more like an inverted head and shoulders than it would an actual head and shoulders. I don't get it. 110 people and 24 likes. Ferris, get him to smash that like button, Ferris. Hit him up one by one. Private message him. I'm just kidding. Any thoughts on which country is the biggest pump and dump on BTC? I don't even know what that means. Which country is the biggest pump and dump on Bitcoin? I don't even know how to answer that. Every Bitcoin's a tradable asset. It's worldwide. It's global. One country I don't think really can affect it tremendously unless they're doing tremendous size, but then it really wouldn't be a pump and dump. So I'm not quite sure how to answer that. I get that this channel isn't financial advice, but are people on here for or against BitConnect? BitConnect! We are for profitability, so I'm not for or against BitConnect. Look, if BitConnect has a 400% run, I want to be involved in it. Period. That's about it. But after that 400% run, I'm going to drop it like a bad habit. Decently bearish divergence on the 4-hour RSI. Well, I'm at the, I can go to the 2-hour RSI. I don't really have a 4-hour up here, but the 2-hour should show a little bit of the same thing. So let's take a look at that. A big bearish divergence right there. That's because this candle closed all the way down here. That's that huge divergence. That really what causes this. You can watch this RSI candle kind of move up and down as the price opens and closes. It's pretty interesting if you actually do that. I mean, I really wouldn't call the RSI. It doesn't look overtly bearish to me, to be quite honest with you. It just kind of looks normalized, which would put another point in the bull's courts at this particular point in time. Ooh, there's a question here I wanted to address. Craig Jenkins, Bitcoin going down below 6,000? That's a good question. As a matter of fact, there's kind of two predominant theories, and they're theories. It's not one or the other. Neither of these have to occur. One theory is that we're rhyming with 2014, and this is just a pop, and we're going to undercut. The next theory is that we're rhyming with gold in 2008 and that we're due a retest of the lows, then we're going to go into a big bull market. Both of those require us to go back down towards the $6,000 level. So if there's another predominant market theory out there, my assumption would be is that we've bottomed and we're not going to see lower prices. So those would be your three predominant market theories at this particular point in time. And I would argue one of them is going to be correct. Either we're going to roll over and go into new lows, or we're going to roll over, retest the lows again and bounce, or we're just going to keep going up from here. Those really are kind of the three theories in the market. I don't know which one is going to play out. Right now there's a lot of bearishness up here, but we're still holding very high price levels, which kind of negates most of that bearishness. So I'm pretty neutral on Bitcoin right now. There is a good possibility that we come down and retest, but the way that this is holding strong, the way the volume is working out, I would like to see more accumulation in this pattern. I would like to see more high value green bars at lows. There's some good ones, but they're not necessarily extremely good. So I would like to see more good accumulation, but there is a possibility that if we're going to go bullish, that we don't get back below 72. And I don't have a ton of money based on that, or any money as a matter of fact, based on that sentiment. But you know, if we continue to remain at highs like this, it's going to take a pretty abrupt bearish movement to take us lower. This is pretty bullish action. It's kind of, like I said, I've got this drawn as a channel, a downward sloping channel. It just seems natural to me, and that's kind of what I'm going with right now, which would imply at least another pop to the upside. Even if it rolls over immediately after that, you know, that's what this chart pattern implies. So here's a situation where you have another declining trend line, you know, and then it pops up and rolls over immediately afterwards. It can do something like that. That's absolutely possible in Bitcoin. So from here, nothing's certain. What's up, Aram? How you doing? Didn't see you in the power hour today, buddy. Mohammed, that is not my email. So if anyone out there is getting an email, I did have someone email me. My email address is Randy. Here, I'll go to my website. Randy@real-crypto.com. All right. If there is anyone out there that sees an email that's from Real Crypto, if it's not from that email address, it's not from me. Okay. I don't email out pretty much from. I've got a couple of personal emails that if you purchase one of my webinars or subscribe to the Power Hour, I think it comes out of some different email addresses, but you're going to get those as receipts. They're not going to ask you for information or anything like that. If you see any emails that say they're from Real Crypto and it is not from this address, it is not me. If you question what it is, delete it. Unfortunately, I've kind of reached a level where people are kind of using my name to try to fish. And I have in the past, I did a whole video about this. Actually, I was kind of pissed off about it the first time it happened. Did a whole video on it. So if it's not from Randy at real-crypto.com, just delete it. Okie dokie. Take a look at BTH. What's BTH? I'm not familiar with BTH. Ooh, didn't even trigger my alert today. Look at that, guys. That's crazy. I don't know what BTH is. Are you saying BCH? I'm going to assume you mean Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash real quick. We can take a peek. Ooh, didn't like that sell-off at all. So every day in the Power Hour, just so you guys know, we go over Bitcoin, we go over the top altcoins, we have a Power Hour spreadsheet, which we track way too many coins. Here's the spreadsheet. It doesn't have every coin in it, but it has all the movers of the past, month or so since we've been kind of following the markets, doing this spreadsheet here. And every single day we go through this. Every single day we go through the top coins on GDAX. They all tend to run together. And you got Bitcoin Cash here, which is a recent development, kind of breaking that trend line right there. So very interesting. We've been talking about a head and shoulders on Bitcoin Cash, getting down here towards the 715 level. This is the target implied from that. And Ethereum too, since we're talking about it. Let's see what Ethereum's done. So in the Power Hour, someone asked, hey, how should I trade Ethereum? I said, well, we got to get over this trend line right here. And we had the Power Hour, I think, yeah, it was right here. And I said, it almost looks like it, you're better off to the short side with this failure here. And so far, so good to that particular trade because it's come down a little bit. Not a lot. These top altcoins don't move a tremendous amount these days. But the overall target down here in Ethereum, a little bit lower as well. Ooh, all the way down to 420. This really reminds me of Litecoin. This really reminds me of Litecoin's situation. Speaking of Litecoin, we had a head and shoulders in Litecoin with an implied target of, let me see if I remember exactly. I'm on the 2-hour chart, so it's a little, this was a while back. I'm trying to remember if it was here, this one. Oh, it was the $85 trend line about a larger inverted head and shoulders pattern. And this reminds me a lot of that, where the target was a prior low. We've since undercut that low a little bit. We're at 82 right now. But it had us down towards 85. And I think it was this large inverted head and shoulders gave us a target all the way down to 75 or 80 or something like that. So Ethereum looking a little bit like, just for some reason, just that Litecoin action popped into my head. on that. That's generally not good. Another thing that Ethereum's doing here, guys, is bear flagging out. Really right there, just really nicely formed bear flag. Bitcoin had something similar here, which is what got me so happy about 5,000. That one didn't quite work out yet. We had to take a detour up to 676, it looked like. But you can see that very nicely formed bear flag and then an immediate withdrawal. Doesn't always happen, but it does happen from time to time that they reverse. But Ethereum putting a pretty good bear flag in here. I don't necessarily think that a full retracement of that is in the cards. That would get us to $92 Ethereum. That seems pretty ridiculous. Or $100. Let's just call it $100. That seems pretty crazy to me. However, another thing we've been talking about, man, guys, if you guys don't look at these setups and see what I'm seeing, you just need to join the freaking Power Hour already, okay? Try it for a month. Give it a go. See if you like the analysis, long-term, short-term. You guys can't look at the short-term without looking at the long-term. I wholeheartedly believe that. If all you do is look at the short-term charts and you're trying to swing for longer-term, you're just going to get chopped up. But, you know, one thing that Ethereum's doing here as it's setting up a a bear flag in what may be a potential drop below this very long-term trend line in Ethereum. We did an analysis the other day and went through all the top 20 coins and drew all these trend lines in all the top 20 coins. Feel free to do so yourself. Or if you want a second opinion, join the damn Power Hour. Anyway, no, you don't have to, but you guys should do your own market research. I wholeheartedly believe in that too. You guys should go through all these coins from time to time, the top 20, the top 50, the top 100, chart them out daily, 6 hour, 15-minute, you know, whatever your time frames are. You guys should do your own homework in here. You guys should chart all these out. You know, you guys watch the YouTube videos up here. Even if you guys don't have a lot of charting experience, it's not too difficult to identify sideways consolidation, such as start drawing trend lines. I mean, the tool is really easy to use for those beginners out there. You just pick a point and then just kind of start drawing and find out where it stops. Oop, that point and that point. There's a trend line, and then you can see if there's, you know, something conflicting with that. Now, there is kind of ways to draw trend lines that are, I guess, based on experience. That's kind of hard to just say go draw trend lines. Like, even though this is a pretty valid trend line here, which it is a valid trend line. This is a very valid trend line. In fact, it ended this move. The break of this trend line completely murdered this move. You know, go by, look at the trend line, see what the market looks like. Because when you guys do your own homework, it just solidifies in your brain. It's kind of like, you know, how there's typically 3 generations of wealthy families, and by the 3rd generation, the wealth just gets thrown away. That's because they didn't earn it. That 3rd generation really didn't earn anything. The 2nd generation saw their mothers or fathers earn it, and so that they felt like it was their duty to kind of foster this wealth. But by the 3rd generation, they just don't care. All right, it's just like the same thing. If you guys see my analysis on Ethereum here, it's not going to stick in your head that this may be potentially important. But if you find this on your own, it's sticking, guys. It's going to stick, and that's I think that's pretty pertinent. But it always helps to get a second read on the markets, a second opinion, especially if you're newer. There's a lot of weird things in the markets that seem common sense after a long time, but aren't so common sense up front. Looks like I got a super chat on my screen here from Pratik, who has a question. Look at ZEC and ADA. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. That's always nice. We do have ZEC and ADA in the Power Hour spreadsheet. So here's ADA on Bitcoin. This has been an interesting one. We talked today that I think this upward movement is ended, and it looks like it has ended. We noticed this rising channel. It broke up a little bit. The volume really wasn't that extravagant. I really wouldn't be interested in ADA at this particular point in time. Just to be quite honest with you, I'm not the type to catch a falling knife. I like to look for really well-formed chart patterns, because chart patterns, if you guys don't know what a chart pattern is at its root level, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys want to learn programming, I'm sure some of you guys are programmers. I'm pretty sure for many of you, not all of you, because everyone thinks differently, but I'm pretty sure for many of you, and this may go for other things in your life, once you understood what happens at the root level, things became more clear and you were able to make sense of problems much faster. The same way with trading. the same way with trading. The chart patterns imply something. They imply accumulation and distribution. Accumulation means people buying coins and holding on to them. Distribution means people being done with those coins and selling them. Okay? Well-defined chart patterns actually mean that there's accumulation happening, and there's certain tricks in the market that they've used for generations and over 100 years now in the markets. And it's, yes, it does come into cryptocurrencies too. Just because this is about a digital asset and not a stock or a commodity doesn't mean the rules of human psychology change. They do not change. They do not change. So without a well-defined chart pattern, I'm not super interested. With a chart pattern that looks very, very abstract, I'm not really interested. And excuse me, where's my water? My water's not in here. Hold on, guys. I'm going to go grab my water in the other room. I'll be back very shortly. All right, I'm back. Just walking in the room. Wife wouldn't even give me a bottle or a cup of water. I had to grab a Dasani water. Oh, first world problems. First world problems. These nuts must be an electrician. I'm actually, by trade, a low voltage technician. Probably about 75% of an electrician as well. So, there you go, D's nuts. So, actually, it's funny, D's nuts, when I, my last job, I had an office building that we moved into. Oh, thanks, babe. She did bring me water. Thank you. Mm-hmm. At my last job, I had to, so like I said, I've been doing low voltage for ever, since 2001. So was that 17 years now? Doing low voltage for 17 years, and we wired a building, and I took all the old Cat 5 wiring, all the network wiring, got $700. $700. So there you go. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, but yeah, so without a really well-formed chart patterns actually mean something. Like, they literally mean something. So no real well-formed chart pattern here in Cardano. It tried to rally and failed. This, to me, looks more like, and I'm not really, I don't think I'm going to call this, although I may. It is a fairly well-formed pattern. It's not great, but it looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Yes, they do form all over the place. No, they don't. I had someone tell me, well, Real Crypto, you can put a head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders everywhere. And I go, yeah, no, you can't. You have no idea what you're doing if you can form a head and shoulders everywhere. I mean, or inverted head, not with any validity. Not with any validity. So that would imply move down to 1650. I'm not sure if that's even rational. Yeah, it's fairly rational. It can get there. Not saying it's going to, but it's possible. Here's another one of those longer term trend lines we drew on Cardano on the daily chart. You can see it right there, breaking back about a month and a half ago, and respecting that breakdown point right there. So anyway, yeah, cool stuff. Brandon used to be an electrician also. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I actually would like to be an electrician. I just don't want to do any retro. I'm pretty much done with retros. I still do low voltage stuff. I love home automation. I install home theaters. I think it's a lot of fun, man. I love that stuff. Get to play with all kinds of different products. And ZEC is the other one you mentioned. That's towards the bottom here. There it is. Golden Eagle, do you use a guide for your chart pattern, or is it mostly experience? At this stage, it's mostly experience. Although, if you go to resources on my website, I do have the Bible under books. The Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns by Bulkowski. These are expensive books. This is a $75 book. I have this one. I haven't actually bought the second. Why haven't I bought the second one yet? I was going to buy the second one. I forgot. But yeah, so it's hard to find the first one. The second one has about 20 additional chart patterns to it. If you want to know a bit more about what the chart patterns are, what they mean, you can go ahead and buy the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. Very good book. it's kind of like a dictionary where the definitions don't mean anything. What I mean by that is this is based completely on stock chart analysis, and they have all kinds of different, what's the word I'm looking for? Definitions and percentages and days it takes to complete a pattern, all kinds of stuff like that is not pertinent to cryptos. But you get the general gist of it, and pretty much all the chart patterns are still valid. But you'll notice as you look in crypto, a few repeat themselves more than others. Yeah, I bet, Sativa. Cardano Nation made me filthy rich last year, doing it bigger and better this year. 8-digit club, baby. Damn, Mark. What'd you start with? How'd you get to 8 digits? Did you have 6 digits, 5 digits, 4 digits? It's pretty cool. Good job there, Mark. But yeah, so Zcash, that's what we were looking at there. This is ZEC BTC Bitcoin. So this is the daily. On the daily, this doesn't look interesting to me at all. I'm really pretty much not interested in this whatsoever. We've got a series of lows here, and it looks like we're about to undercut those lows. You can see the momentum higher. There's a high here, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Eventually, this looks like it's going to break. And at that particular point in time, you need to be out of Zcash if you're interested. But I would be avoiding this. Again, talking about chart patterns and high-quality setups, which we talk about in the Power Hour, 2 high-quality setups. This is not a high-quality setup. Unfortunately, Zcash crashed right after the Coinbase announcement here about a week and a half later. And so far, it looks like it just gave the sellers a chance to distribute some coins. Let me check out some additional questions here. My long-winded answers are difficult to get all the questions here. In the extreme stream. What's up, Calix? What do you think about EOS? Were you not in the Power Hour this morning, Calix? I thought you were there. Yeah, not really happy with EOS. It's an avoid for me. It's just an avoid, maybe even a short, but I'm not getting aggressive with shorts on EOS down here. We talked about a head and shoulders here, actually, as a matter of fact. Is that the one, or is there a different one? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not EOS. Maybe it's a different one. There was one we talked about a head and shoulders with a target, and I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm generally not liking EOS living at lows, undercutting prior lows. Not healthy. Looks like a better short than a better long. I'm doing pretty good, Aram. I'm doing pretty good today. Yeah, view on Cardano is not healthy, bullish. Not very healthy. When's the next webinar? That's a great question. That's a great question. It's going to be pretty soon. And it may actually even be on introduction to stocks. It may not even be on cryptocurrencies. I'll have to wait and see. I've had a lot of interest in the stock market lately based off of the bearish market cryptocurrencies have been in. Especially with people within the Power Hour, they're really interested in the stock market. So I may do an intro to stocks, and then I'll probably do. I thought about a swing trading webinar, but with the market the way it is right now, I kind of don't want to get people thinking about swing trading in the middle of a bear market. So anyway, if you have another idea, I've got a list here somewhere. I've got to pull it up, but I do need to get working on some of those webinars. Can I check self-key? Yeah, self-key was acting horribly, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, it put a bull flag in. It did. Okay, so it is the one that put the bull flag in. We talked about this yesterday and today. Right here, we had the second high. We put this trend line in place, and that's pretty much right where it broke up, is off that trend line. So far, holding okay. Higher volume at the highs, which is fine. There is some distribution up here, obviously, so I'm not super mad about that. but it needs to consolidate, needs some more time for you to have a proper base to buy off of. Remember when I said chart patterns mean something? This is a chart pattern that means something. Okay, we wiped self-key almost completely off of our spreadsheet once it broke down from this trend line. I did keep it on, but it pretty much breezed through it. We looked at it here once or twice, and then on the down thrust here, I'm not interested. And guys, to be honest with you, I don't care about this pop. I don't want to catch this. That's not my style. My style isn't catching the immediate move off of the bottom. Although we do have strategies to do that. It does involve extreme chart watching, but you can do it. It's just it's just more difficult. My style is catching something like this, a very well-defined chart pattern coming. Doesn't have to be off of a low. It could be just off of a pause and a run-up. And this is where I like to get involved. But yeah, so far, Key, no real buy area right now in it. I would assume there'd be some more sideways action. And good movement, though, in Key. Pretty good movement. I do like it. It's very healthy. Looks like it may continue in time. We're coming down here to that prior, from where it broke down. See that, kind of was stair-stepping lower than the selling accelerated. We're coming up to, so we came up to the point where the selling accelerated and so far have paused, and that needs to be broken through. So looks like that right there. You're looking at about the 193 level, appears to be the level which you could be interested in, again, in self-key if it gets some good volume coming into it. Why Bitcoin sells so abrupt of 0.550? I'm not sure what 0.550 means, Cool Frost. Shorts and longs for Bitcoin, shorts in a downtrend channel. You know, we haven't looked at the longs and shorts recently. We were for a couple of days there. I view this as an experiment. I don't put a lot of stock into how this affects the market. If anyone has done any analysis on the longs and shorts, I would like to hear it. And if you're going to post a comment, please preface it with, hey, this is about Bitcoin longs and shorts, because I can't view the chat right now. I mean, it looks like everyone's kind of taken a step aside at this particular moment in time. The shorts looks like they've gotten much less aggressive here, at least on Bitfinex. And the longs looks like they're just kind of hanging out. They're not doing a whole lot. So, but I would view this as kind of a secondary indicator at this particular point in time. What's up, Johnny B? A lot of traders will dump at a target of 7,800. Those three big red candles over the last several days were triggered when traders reach their sell target. The buying is in tiny, tiny increments, low volume. Kind of hard to be sure if this consolidation period is a bull or bear flag. I agree, Johnny. You and I seem to be getting a little bit closer together there in terms of that. So many people against ICOs and alts, but if people buy any crypto with fiat, then sell, they get alts to get Bitcoin. That means even scam coins are good for Bitcoin in the end. Nobody leave to fiat. Okay. Okay, I could kind of see a bit of a point there. But jump in at 7,500, 70. Yeah, 5K to 4660 to 100 plus. Yeah, it's really hard to be a perma bull. Well, let me rephrase that. It's easy to be a perma bull if you've got Bitcoin from like sub $500. You're still way happy up here, and that's fantastic. But if you don't have Bitcoin from way down there and you're like, everyone else's situation where you're just entering the market in the past year or so, then it's going to be a different situation. Jupiter, Florida, checking in. What's up, Nuts? How you doing? Divorce yourself emotionally. Good job. How'd you do that? That's pretty. I'd like to hear your story, D's Nuts. To be quite frank with you, I really would. What did I do that helped you so much? I mean, I really would enjoy that if you would share your story with me. If you want to email me, buddy, you can email me right here, Randy@real-crypto.com. Yeah, wouldn't mind hearing your story. That's great. Glad I could help you. What is the power hour time now? It's the same time. It's between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Arizona time. So in terms of what that is, UTC time. So for right now it is, 5 o'clock 5 p.m. my time is midnight UTC time. So I guess it would be at, what was that, 9, 10, 11, 16 hours. So it'd be 16 UTC? I don't know. My math sucks when it comes to time. In time zones, my time, I don't really change my time zone. I never change an hour ahead or back in Arizona, so I pretty much just live in my little world here. Look at Ontology. Last time we checked, it looked like trash, and it still looks like garbage. Lower, lower, lower. We talked about a symmetrical triangle. Lower, 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 lower. I mean, Ontology's dead. I sold a Weird Wicked World. I sold because you said 3.5K saved me tons of money so far. So far, I'm sticking with the plan. Weird Wicked World. What price point was that? I've been saying 3.5 for a long time. Just kind of curious. If you want to preface it down below there, I'll get your comment here in a little bit. Yeah, I agree, Johnny B. Ontology, WAN, all those coins just failed. I guess they just took their profit and run. They just take the profit and run. There's probably a consortium out there that buys these altcoins as they come out that are promising and then hold on to them, and they don't care what's going on after that for a year or two, to be quite frank with you. That kind of messes it up for the people trading on the more immediate time frames. Victor says, 2 days in the power hour, and I fully recommend it. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying. Glad you're getting something out of it. That's awesome. Everyone's interested in Cardano. That's like the fourth Cardano comment I've gotten. What is so interesting about Cardano? I don't get it. I don't get it. It had a little run up here, pull back, kind of a bear flag situation right now. Like I said, maybe a head and shoulders even. Interesting. How did you come up with the long-term support line for ETH that doesn't touch most of the supports? So let's go through this, AJ, and thanks for being here, AJ. Glad you're here again. Okay, so the long-term support line, I went back, my friend. I went way back, and this actually doesn't touch for some reason. This point and this point, I really try to go back as far as I can to see like a really, really well-defined trend line. So it touches, or it's supposed to touch that point and that point. This did touch when I do it. Sometimes Coinigy likes to screw with my charts occasionally. So, I mean, really going way back. I mean, way back. If I draw any other trend line, it's already broken. It's already broken. So I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. Right about there. Something like that. But yeah, so you can actually line up most of these lows and it's already broken. You can try to line up this low. There's all kinds of trend lines here that are already gone. Already gone. Like there was a really big, you guys remember this really big triangle? This was broken. But see how it's been chopped around in the latter moves here? I don't really view it as valid due to that fact. So this is the longer term trend line for me. You're right, it is not. I would have liked it to touch a middle point here somewhere. Unfortunately, this is kind of what it looks like. But you draw any other trend line, this thing's already broken. Just completely broken. There's my voice cracking. Still does that. Lost my... Oh, okay, there we go. Where did I learn charting? Can you recommend a textbook? I gave you that book already, Seth, on my website. If you go to resources and then into books here, Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns isn't the only place I've learned. Also, there's an... Why isn't the orange book up here? I don't have the... Is it the green or the orange book? There's a green and orange. There's a green and an orange book. I have the green book up here. I should probably change that to the orange book. Orange book, I believe, has more charts in it and how to make money in stocks. Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, also very good charting books. This goes into more fundamentals in terms of stocks, but it's still very valuable in terms of its technical analysis. And and accumulation distribution patterns. All right, getting back to the last time I was looking at comments, talking about Mark, and he answered my question. So 5 figures to 7 figures, that's awesome. And now you're holding 5 million ADA for the kill. That's a strategy. That's a strategy. I don't know who Sunny D is. No idea who Sunny D is. But who said you shouldn't read books? That's stupid. Stupid. First time watching, have you looked at ZRX? Elevate Bitcoin. Oh, thank you for checking me out. Appreciate that. Have not looked at ZRX yet. ZRX had an interesting action. It fell out of this pattern, and then a few days ago in the power hour, I was done with it. I think it was down about here. We did about 9 a.m. my time, so it was probably... No, it was over here, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere over here that I was done with it out of this channel. And then it threw right back up into the channel. And we actually... this is our sell point here in Cardano. We had a member that actually bought like the bottom. And I was like, oh, wow, great job. They actually bought like the bottom in Cardano, and we were up here, and they asked about taking profits. I'm like, well, if it breaks this trend line, you've got to sell it. And then it broke up because it was like right here. It was right here. I'm on UTC. No wonder it's weird. Okay, so Phoenix -7. There we go. Okay, so 9 o'clock. Okay, so there's 9 o'clock. It popped here, and then yeah, about 10:30. Okay, yeah, we stopped, I think, a little before 10:30. Anyway, it popped up. I actually tried to buy some, but my Binance account, I can't log into my app for some reason. Good thing I didn't. It actually caved. And I said, for those of you that just bought, here's your stop point right there. Proved to be good advice. It proceeded to crash and is still crashing. So ZRX, I would not get involved with right here. It is still underneath that longer, those 2 trend lines I have. There are ones for the wicks of the candles, ones for the body of the candles. Both look extremely valid, and right now it looks like it's just rolling over. So I really wouldn't be getting too involved in ZRX here. Wonderful bricks. Looking at XRP. Hold on, let me throw. Oh, there's a bucket. Let me throw up a little bit. Okay, yeah. No, XRP, not good. Garbage. H pattern forming. Avoid XRP or short it. Either one, but do not buy this thing. Rumble T, I see inverted head and shoulders on daily for EOS USD. Let's take a peek. There's a potential there. Yeah, there could be a potential for inverted head and shoulders right there. I see what you're looking at. Get rid of some of this stuff. Doesn't need to be there anymore. All right, so inverted head and shoulders. We got one right here. Potential shoulder right there, which would give you neckline as such, and then that would probably imply an upside target of something else. So it takes a few days to break out. Takes you to 1217, and from here that would be a 53% run. So maybe that could be possible. I would say probably a break of this trend line here at $8.20 would, I'd be more inclined to enter there than I would at this specific level. Just like we did with Bitcoin, guys. If you guys remember, if you guys weren't watching the Bitcoin videos, we were talking about buying Bitcoin over the 6,400 level. I should just omit a lot of these at this particular point in time. So we really harped on buying Bitcoin over 6,400 here. Some people did, some people didn't. And 6,400, and then 6850 was our next level. But, so I liked this buy here because it was a break of the prior highs, basically confirming the shoulder situation. Something similar in EOS is happening right now, where you can get a confirmation of the shoulder. So far looking pretty healthy with a higher low right here, but we don't have confirmation yet. So I really do like confirmation. What are my thoughts on Qtum? It's a piece of crap, garbage coin to trade. That's my thoughts of Qtum. It will shake you out faster than anything. Just shake you out. If you only had one option, would you trade stocks or crypto? I would trade stocks, AJ. Right now, I would trade stocks because the crypto market's trash. When it gets good again, I don't know. I've had a lot of good success with stocks. That's a tough one. I probably would say stocks just because I'm familiar. I'm very familiar with stocks, and I can trade options. I can trade future. I can trade all kinds of stuff with stocks. The cryptos, I'm stuck with the same, 20, 30, 40 assets time and time again. With stocks, I have many thousands of assets to trade, many different ways to trade them, and the commissions aren't nearly as brutal if you trade in size. Like I'm sure, was it Mark? Yeah, Mark up here with this Cardano position. I don't even want to know what your commission was on a $3 million sale for Cardano. I don't even want to know what that commission was, depending on your exchange that you're on, or on if you shape shifted it or something like that. But I bet it wasn't, the $200 it would have been on Interactive Brokers. That's all I know. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. The commissions are insane. But yeah, Qtum is garbage. I don't like Qtum. I do have it on the spreadsheet. Someone did ask about it. So I do have it here, and it pretty much failed everything that we tried giving it some chances. It ripped our hearts out, stomped on it, and yeah, it's just going lower and lower. Do not get involved in a coin that just wants to kill itself. Thoughts on Mana getting close to breaking the curve? What's up, A-Lag? Oh yeah, you're Permahoy, that's right. I'm like, how do you know about the curve? How do you know about the curve? Been talking about the curve here in Mana for a few days now. So Mana, one of the few coins actually like pressuring highs, at least on Binance. There may be another exchange that there has more history, but I didn't really take the time to look. But Mana has this cute little curve going on it here, and if it can maintain that structure, then it could be getting very healthy. Volume picking up a little bit here, so getting pretty healthy to running. ICX, I'm assuming it's not doing much considering that it's towards the top of my spreadsheet and I haven't thought about it for like 2 weeks. And that's why, because it's undercutting prior lows. Avoid this coin at all costs. Avoid it. Avoid it. I'm not sure what you're referring to with your question, so unfortunately I cannot pull it back up. Oh, maybe you're talking about Bitcoin. And you are correct. It is very similar to this. This is kind of what I'm likening this pattern to here. This is what we've kind of been discussing, is this looking a lot like this. Absolutely. Absolutely, I think one key difference here, though, is that while this spiked higher earlier and the volume was much heavier, not so much here. The volume is lighter and the spike highs are immediately sold into. So there's a little bit of a difference in behavior there. But generally, it is approximately, it is very similar action in terms of the lows. More it is than the highs. Oh, Weird Wicked World. You sold in late January. Good freaking job, man. Awesome. That's the highest sale that anyone else has told me for Bitcoin that they've done. Late January. Where is that? Dude, that's awesome. Or is it late January? So, probably still down here. Oh well. I was thinking it would be up here. I had some people sell above 13,000. I was thinking you were up here like 16. That was beginning of January. Sorry, but no, good job. Still hell of a lot better than freaking $7,000. Still a lot better than 7,000 bucks. So good job there. Litecoin to 1,500 by the end of the year. Mexican Charlie Lee. 1,500 now. I thought it was 1,000. I thought it was 1,000. Now it's 1,500. Man, I gotta get me some Litecoin. Man, you can taste the sarcasm on that one. Hopefully, that's pretty sarcastic right there. Are you saying Bitcoin is going down? No, I'm pretty neutral on Bitcoin at this particular point in time. As a matter of fact, for a similar reason, I went neutral on Bitcoin up here. We have a potential to rally. It is still on the table, but yeah, I don't think that the bear market is not confirmed that it's over. I don't think that it's over. I think we roll over and go lower, but this is a slight different in terms of reactions up at the trend line here. It's spending more time up here, which is healthier, so it could continue. There's definitely I'm like 64. I was like 70-30 bull. Now I'm sorry, 60-30. I was like 50-50, 60, 60-40. I'm getting to 70-30. Pretty soon I'll be 80-20. I don't know if I'll get ever to 90-10, but it's so far doing so good. The volume is declining while prices are maintaining high levels. If you look at this daily chart, which I have basically graffitied all over at this particular point in time, you can see right there with the lower volume. It's not really low yet, though. I think we need more time. Unfortunately, if we give it any more time, it's going to break that downward trend line, which is going to kind of screw up a little bit of my thesis in terms of the bear market. So I may have to reassess a few things there, but yeah. So anyways, this line may get breached, and it doesn't mean it's the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination in terms of the market potentially having more bearish action. But it is something interesting to note that would be a change in behavior. All right, going to get going here in a little bit, guys. Going to kind of roll down towards the bottom, see what questions I missed, if there was anything that I should address. Okay, didn't miss too much. See what else I got. What are website you using? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Lax Thor. I chart with Coinigy and I chart with TradingView, mainly Coinigy though. I do a lot in Coinigy. I do a lot of my alerts in Coinigy. That's basically all I use though. If you guys look in the description, there's a few links down there for you if you're interested. There's a Coinigy link down there. I don't know what other kinds of links are down there, but I'm not sure what you mean by chart I'm talking about. Neo or Stellar, Philip? Yeah, let's look at Neo or Stellar. Haven't looked at Neo in a couple of days, probably because it's been looking worse and worse and worse. So we had high hopes for Neo. We had a couple of inverted head and shoulders that played out. So far coming in lower, so we haven't really... So far, this trend line is still intact. It looks like it may break here in the next few days, though. In terms of XLM, we don't even have XLM on the spreadsheet. XLM looks like it was stuck in a wide channel last time if I remember properly. Oh, stuck in a consolidation. Yeah, so it's in kind of a high-level consolidation. There's a bigger bear flag at work here in Stellar, which could be good longer term for Stellar. Absolutely could be good longer term. And right now it's stuck in a consolidation, so I'd wait for a break of the consolidation. When would I short Bitcoin? When it appears like it's going to break down is when I would short Bitcoin. Bitcoin can break to the downside out of nowhere, but generally that's not the case. Generally that's not the case. It tends not to break down. It did over here somewhere. It broke up out of nowhere right here. This was a break literally out of nowhere. There was nothing in here indicating it was going to break, and it just broke up. We could do something similar here, but right now the volume is increased so high, I don't think we have a big move in either direction imminent at this moment in time. We need general declining volume for that to happen. Aram, Randy, can you please explain how you can buy any asset on Binance with stop loss or take profit? Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. I've got my Binance app right now is broken. I can't log in for some reason. I'll do it during the power hour, Aram. If you're going to be there, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll do it and you can watch it afterwards. Digibyte, DGB. Someone asked about Digibyte. So Digibyte has been stuck up in this really high situation. I'm really liking Digibyte here, guys. Actually, I'm liking it a lot. This is now what's called a high tight flag. Although, how many? Technically, it's not a high tide flag, but it still looks like a high tide flag. Walks like a high tide flag, quacks like a high tide flag, kind of looks like a high tide flag. Digibyte's healthy. You need to wait for volume to step back in before it breaks out. Probably over 650 would be good for Digibyte. Love when bears get neutral. Why is that? Because it's going to go lower? Hey, man, you got to keep it real. You never know what the market's going to do. You can't hold on to... unless you have extreme analysis in one direction or another, you really cannot hold on to too strong of a market view, especially lower in a bear market like this when we've tested lows. So, yeah. New to trading, Lax Thor. Okay, well, then for you, I definitely recommend trying to find some courses or something like that. Try to educate yourself. Spend some money on some education instead of losing money in the market and then being frustrated. That's pretty much what I'll say to you there. And in either way you do that, Laxtor, if you're going to trade, which you'll probably trade a little bit, please trade with like 5 to 10% of your account. You have the benefit in cryptocurrencies of having a percentage-based commission structure. So if you only trade with $10 on a trade, you can see how profitable you are without actually putting a lot of money at risk. And percentage-wise, most traders lose money within the first 9 months to a year. So if you trade with less, you'll lose less. So that's good. Can you pay for crypto and power hour? Go ahead and email me, AJ, and we can work that out. Sure, you can. Would you wait with buying Bitcoin now? So Bitcoin's still stuck in this range. It is looking pretty bullish. Living in this channel is healthy. Okay, if we're not going to get any lower than this, then it's looking pretty good for a bullish case in Bitcoin. I don't arbitrarily buy things in the middle of consolidations. That's not something I do. I like to wait for the breakout, and then I will get involved. Okay, so yeah, I don't arbitrarily buy. Although we did talk in the power hour on this particular low when it pulled back to 72.50, I think it was, something like that. We mentioned this could be your pullback buy. It turns out you got 2 pullback buys in Bitcoin up here. May or may not get a third in time. We'll have to wait and see. Short Neo now. It's a little low to short Neo. You probably can. It may continue lower, but it's not going to be aggressive. Keep in mind, this is a daily chart that I have here, and that's 10% in like 4 or 5 days, which most people look for that to happen immediately in cryptos. But yeah, Neo, actually this H pattern, it looks like it has an H pattern here so far, getting towards the lows. It is getting to a break. If this can break this level of the 44.24 level, probably will be pretty good for a short. And Can, looking at Zill. How you doing, Can? Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to get out of here in a little bit, guys. There it is. Zill, very similar H pattern here. Very similar H pattern. I would avoid Zill. If it can break a prior high, you may get interested. Maybe this 1,000 Satoshi level. But until that, I would probably avoid it. So, all right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for joining me today. If you guys... if I didn't already kind of talk to you about it, please check out my website at real-crypto.com. You can check out our Power Hour. Join our free Slack chat room right here. There's a lot of good traders in there. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you guys are looking for a nice community to join, the Real Crypto community is pretty fun. The guys are pretty fun. Girls are pretty fun. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Have a good day. See you next time.